But when you measure it flat, it contradicts that. I'm spitting flat facts and that. And I know you don't like that. Google Maps is flat, it presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat earth king. Sentence has a ring, doing my own thing. If earth was a big roast chicken, factually finger licking chicken. We just got the measurements missing. I'm spitting eggs and begs, begging the question lesson. I've said it before, time after time. I'm the spitting flat earth king of rhyme.
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using stock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by Len, Neil, Surf Daddy, One Deck, Click OK, Arthur, and a whole bunch of people in the Flipside Discord server. So, welcome one and all.
How are you?
Good afternoon.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
Good evening.
I'm pretty okay, not too bad. Ordered some acoustic panels yesterday, so for the last birthday and Christmas, my mother has given me money, bless her, and I just didn't spend it on the thing that I'd said I'd wanted the money for. So I'm like, I want acoustic panels. She's like, oh, I'll give you some cash for them. I'm like, no, I want acoustic panels. Because cash just disappears into paying bills and keeping lights on and things of that nature. So for that reason, I haven't actually ordered any. Now, I am running to the point where I want to eventually produce an audiobook and will want to record in this space. So I want it to be as good as possible. And at 95% treated, I want to do the last little 5%. And that means ordering 3 panels, which I did today. So over the last couple of days, I've been talking back and forth with GIK Acoustics, who are the people that have treated the rest of the space. It's just the bit that's on camera that looks all right, hodgepodge. So I'm going to actually get that nice and finished. Hopefully move all the panels that I've currently got into different positions and then have a whole wall of hexagon shapes behind me. So it just looks a little bit prettier when I'm on camera. Out and about promoting my book. So that was done to a degree over the last couple of days. I've ripped out all of the shelving that was behind me. I've taken all the microphones and put them in flight cases so they're all tidied away. And I think I've got 10 or 11 microphones left on eBay. At one point I had 100 that were for sale. Now I'm down to the last 10, having not bought any since the end of January. And perfect in terms of the crossover time. So just before the book's coming out, all the microphones will run out. And then that revenue stream will completely dry up. But like I say, I've bit the bullet, even though I don't necessarily have strictly quite enough money to cover it. I do have a few pennies. So I have decided to bite the bullet and buy the panels, which I've been putting off for about 2 years, and just do it. Go ahead.
It's going to look different behind you now once you install them.
Yeah, very different. Currently,
Cool.
what's behind me is a whole load of gaps. So above me, to the side of me, and to the other side of me, well, there'll just be hexagons, 3 panels that are the same dimensions as the one that are behind me, but vertically mounted, 3 in a row. And then this corner will get the one that's above me, you can't see it quite in shot, go here. And then this one that's a square one will go along this side wall here. So all the way across there'll be hexagons, and then behind me there's 3 very, very big bass traps. They will have a third added to the 2 that I've already got. So there'll be a 37 hertz along with the 2 40 hertz bass traps that are covered with another piece of rock wool that's covered in fabric or carpeting, as the case may be. And that'll be it. The whole wall will look like the rest of the walls because they're all treated. The ceiling looks very different, but yeah, you don't get to see the ceiling. You just get to see the crappy wall that I started with, where I'm spreading it out as much as humanly possible to cover as much as the surface area as evenly as possible, without much care given to how it actually appears on camera. So what I used to do is just do a very tight framing with just me, and that would mean that if I do that for the audience, it'll be a bit of a mess for a couple of seconds. You know, it looks something similar to that with me without these edges. I won't do it on the fly, but you know, just the panel behind me meant that I could have occasional shots with just my head and shoulders where it looked reasonably nice on camera. Let's just zoom out again. So yeah, that'll look a lot better once it's finished. And yeah, can't wait to have it actually done. I don't know how long GOK will actually take to get those panels that I've ordered today and paid for today to come. But I had a regular who supports the channel and has done for probably the most time ever. Michael, if you're out there, thank you so much for all your support. Really appreciate it. But he sent me $50, and I just happened to be on the day that I'd been negotiating 10% off with GIK for the 3 panels that I wanted to order. So I thought, I'll sod it, I'll bite the bullet and just order them. So I paid the 600 quid in cash and the 50 quid with money that came in from PayPal that I'd typically been given to my wife. Why won't this fit on? Stop messing with
Yeah, that Michael guy's a good guy, man.
Yeah, very much so.
And you put back into your show all the time. You've spent many years just constantly putting into the show, and good on you, because it's ace.
Get this camera. I'm going to have to fiddle with this after the show's finished. Let's take that off. Keep looking at myself, trying to line myself up correctly, and I can't quite do it now. I've fiddled with it on the fly. I'll do that later. So yeah, it'll just look nicer when I'm on Random Joe's show doing a promotion for my book. I want it to look as nice as possible behind me. So that's why I'm doing that. That, and it'll obviously sound better for when I do the read by author version of the book.
Yeah, well done, like Neil said. And these are, it's like this, we're at a time now where things have changed in the rhetoric that and the level that we're at regarding the topic that we talk about, which is Earth and the measurements of. Earth is measured flat, always has been, always will be. And we're at a point now where, you know, the book's coming out, the shows took a little bit of a turn. We're in this process now of change, and you're going to be promoting the book, updating the speakers, like you say, for the audio book. So it's all a good change. It's a good time at the moment, I think.
So why do you think?
Times.
Why do you think that? Because I was thinking about this the other day. I said it before, but not on air. That all these other things we discussed, Coriolis, distance to the sun, gravity, nothing caused as much trouble as Earth being measured flat. It's caused trouble on both sides, because one side, let's say the flat Earth side, if you got a Discord server that says 24/7 flat Earth, you could see why they would want to just end it right there. 24 hours they got to talk. But on the ball side, this ends everything. The ball totally vanishes. So they want to talk about all these other things nonstop, but nothing has caused as much trouble as Earth being measured flat.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Well, the choreo. Sorry, Nathan.
I was just going to say it makes perfect sense from both perspectives, because for the last 10 years, in order to argue that Earth is not a ball, both sides need to accept that you can measure things like elevation angle measurements from surface level. And then upon accepting these flat Earth prerequisite measurements to build a ball, a flat earther can show you why it's not a ball. Like why the distance, also a flat Earth measurement, to the horizon based on an observer height that's measured from a flat Earth, isn't functionally as the ball suggests. Now, that flat earther has had to accept the flat Earth measurements that create the ball without acknowledging that they are flat Earth measurements that they're making their ball with to say that the ball doesn't work. Now, for a glober, they need to do the same. Utilise flat Earth prerequisite elevation angle measurements, height of eye measurements off surface level, sea level measurements, depression angles, elevation angles, all these flat Earth measurements to make their ball to say that the ball does work. based on its flat Earth utilization of measurements of surface level. Now, if both parties that are in a perceived debate can accept that as ground rules, you'll measure Earth flat for your ball and say that it works perfectly. I'll measure Earth flat for a ball and say it doesn't work perfectly, and we can argue for hours. The minute we come along and go, you're using flat Earth measurements and you're using flat Earth measurements, here's how you measure Earth flat. That's before we get into how the ball's made with those measurements to say it doesn't work, or for you to tell me that my version of how the ball doesn't work, that's been built on flat Earth measurements, is wrong. We have to accept that Earth's measured flat, because we do. Now, if you're on the ball side currently hearing this rhetoric, you absolutely despise us. Because what are you going to do? Deny the flat Earth prerequisite measurements that you need to make your ball? But you can't. So therefore, you use flat Earth measurements then. Yeah, locally, yeah, okay, I don't care if you can apologise for how flat you must measure Earth. You must measure Earth flat. And for the flatty that says, well, I've learned a lot about how the ball works, so I can show how it doesn't. As soon as I just show that the ball's made with flat Earth measurements, I don't need any of the knowledge I've acquired to show how the ball doesn't work. Because it's whistling past the flat Earth measurements, and we must whistle past those measurements, so I can show how a ball created with those flat Earth measurements doesn't work. That's taken a long time to learn that information, and it was based on the understanding that everyone would ignore the flat Earth measurements that we need to make this ball to say it doesn't work. How dare you take away this superior knowledge that I've acquired over the last 5 to 10 years? So it's going to be the case that we're despised on both sides. Makes perfect sense. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
the Earth doesn't care. The surface doesn't care. How it's surveyed doesn't care. How it's flown across, sailed upon, charted, mapped, navigated, built upon, surveyed. All of those functional, useful things that are done with regards to Earth's surface are done and have always been done by measuring Earth flat. And that is devoid or separate from the discussion about flat Earth versus globe Earth, when it's I'll build a globe and say how it doesn't work, you can build a globe and say how it does. Let's not mention that we're building it with flat Earth measurements, because they're the exclusive realm of the surveyors and the flight coordinators and those people who are practically applying Earth's surface level measurements to a daily business that they may partake in. But they're indeed not even aware that there's some inconsistency with their globe faith. In fact, quite often they'll suggest that their globe faith is congruent with their flat Earth measurements, and then apologise for how flat they measure it, and justify how that flat measurement means it can still functionally operate as a ball after the flat Earth measurements have been utilised. Me, I don't care. I'm just a little insignificant man in regards to this process that isn't reliant on me as a cog. There's plenty of people who are in this debate and discussion, perceived to be, which it isn't, thinking that they're a cog, like you have some consequence on the mechanism of the clock, by metaphor, and you're not. None of us are cogs. The cogs, they turn to revolve the world around how flat it is, functionally. That's what the cogs do. Now, they do that regardless of whether or not you believe you're a cog or believe that you need to give the cogs permission to do what they do. The cogs still turn, the Earth still gets measured flat, regardless of your disbelief, your disavowment, your need to condemn somebody who verbalises it. None of those things are consequential to how the clock functions, and you're just not a cog in that functionality. You might go out there and do something inconsequential that seems like you're a cog, like ancillary to the time, like going out and looking at the sun when you've got a grandfather clock. The cogs still turn in the grandfather clock just because you've looked at the sun. The fact that the sun's being measured with flat Earth elevation angles, and that was the base origin to form the clock, is irrelevant because you've gone out and measured elevation angles to it. Therefore, in your mind, you're a cog in the clock. You're not. The clock keeps ticking whether or not you're functionally doing something ancillary to that clock or not. And how the clock functions is inconsequential to you. It will do what it does. Now, can you smash the clock? There are other clocks. They work the same way. Same with functionally measuring Earth. It will always be measured flat because it is flat. And that's how it's functionally been used always and will be used today and will continue to be used tomorrow. No one's ever going to change how they functionally measure Earth's surface level or sea level or flight level. Those things will always remain exactly as they are. Now, the amount of apologies that you want to offer for how sphere-shaped it isn't, squaring circles with magical words like gravity, be my guest. It will not alter what the world is being utilised as, and it is a planar topology, a surface level, a sea level. The weasel words that are required by you, if you want to believe you're in a ball measuring the Polaris system that wraps around that ball from within it, then that's up to you. You can believe those things. That's just not how we measure the surface level. We being the real cogs that I'm not one of, and neither are you. So yeah, what else can I tell you? Getting the place acoustically treated. Got a window man out today. Another expense that wasn't necessarily wanted, but one of my windows, the one I look directly at, they're all triple glazed in here, so the room's nice and isolated from the outside noises that can permeate in and ruin a recording. Well, one of the window frames, actually the hinges had failed, so it wasn't quite closing properly, which meant that it wasn't soundproof in here. It wasn't, isolated fully from the outside sounds. You could hear the traffic going by when the window wouldn't fully close. So I've had the double glazing man out today, and he's physically removed the entire pane of glass, stripped the window itself out of the frame, and then replaced the hinges, put it all back together again, and now it's completely silent in here. It's back to I think I've measured it at 18 dBA. Really quiet, quieter than a library in here when it's nothing going on, like there's no kids up. So in the middle of the night when I've measured it on my SPL meter to see what the actual background noise is, it's to the point where a really high quality microphone's noise floor can actually be higher than the room in some instances. Like the room is quieter than the microphone, which isn't normally the case. But this is a very well isolated room. So one of the other things, along with getting this treatment actually sorted out nicely, was doing the window that I speak at and getting it fixed so that it's a fully isolated room again. It's just getting its little corners that I've left cut, I suppose you could say. Hats off to the cogs, says Roger. Roger Ledwell. Thank you very much indeed, Roger, for the super chat. Really appreciate the support. Yeah, we're not cogs though. A cog, by metaphor, is somebody who's actually functionally doing something that makes the world tick, like the buildings be erected, the flights not crash into the ground, the positional information with respect to surface level being measured with angles, the people who create the maps and chart the world. Those are all the functions of the cogs, and they turn in a clock that's a flat earth clock. Now, by metaphor, it's a useful metaphor because a clock itself is derived from the movements of the lights. Now, you can infer that by looking at the lights or taking notes of their conception that we've given them, that's time, that we are in some way a cog. We're not. Flat earthing was never intended to be consequential to the world and how it operates. Only a perception of what a flat earth is by making it into a stereotype of a person, rather than acknowledging just the pure raw measurements of Earth as a surface level. That's how Earth is measured. That just needs to be kept separate from being a flat earther, so that flat earthing can be what stands in opposition to the religion of being on a ball, so that only the ball and whether or not it functions is what's argued about. And simultaneously, whilst arguing about it, whistling past the actual measurements that are used to create that ball, as I said earlier. Intriguing subject currently, flat earth, for me. From a psychological point of view.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
So in the pre-show, I was explaining a video by Chase Hughes where he's describing the various different types of perception of next man, from this man needs to have his false views corrected, through this man can be ignored, although I wish him pain, to that's just that person doing as that person does. If they're an asshole, that's how they are. You can't change that person's being any more than you can change the wind today. It is what it is, and acceptance of it is going to give you a much happier life. Whereas wanting to fix the broken men that are around us is only going to lead to your own sorrow. You're not going to fix them. They are forever broken. And there's going to be people out there that thrive on finding next man's misery on his behalf. Like, I can superimpose my misery onto this man. Maybe I can lose him his job or cost him his family or cause him to be in financial hardship. It's like wishing sorrow on others isn't going to create happiness. It's crabs in a bucket mentality. But when you see that, there is a temptation to think, I am in need of levelling this playing field and fixing that which is broken. Whereas in reality, treat that nasty individual like the wind. Like, that's just the wind doing what it does. Might be irritating. It might be cold on my skin as I walk out. But ultimately, it's not going to have that much effect on what I'm doing with my day. It is what it is. People are people. People are scummy.
Yeah, it's like trying to make the wind stop. The wind does what it does. Let it blow right by you.
Yeah, and the assholes that oppose us because they're in pain. Most actions are led through fear. And fear of being wrong about the shape and nature of the world's surface that's being measured regardless of these cogs that aren't cogs. Worrying about it won't have any difference on the world that we actually inhabit, but it will cause those people to be miserable. And they are miserable. These aren't happy-go-lucky individuals that you'd want to go out and spend time with. They're not fun people. You know, when they gather around to see if they can cause pain to the next man. That's not a fun way of being. I do not envy those people.
I think they've only become like that since they've realised the Earth is measured flat. I mean, before that, you think they might have been okay type of people.
Maybe. I mean, I think prior to this, there was a certain level of snobbery amongst the dweeb community where they, in their mind, were privy to secret occult knowledge that was hidden from most people, when in reality, most people were just bored by it and didn't care about it. Therefore, when they acquired the information which others didn't value, they felt that they could lord that information upon others. And when someone comes along, regardless of how right or wrong they are about the way they convey the information, this example having flat earthers as that person, it puts that person's secret, super expressive knowledge at risk. And they don't want that. So they want to be able to come to a class of society that has been deemed as worthy of being humiliated and insulted, and humiliate and insult them based on their super special knowledge. And societally, people will tolerate that because flat earthers are considered the lowest of the low and acceptable to demean. So if you're a low value male and generally shunned and ignored in society, suddenly you can find your place using your super special geeky knowledge about stars or planets or gravity and lord it over the part of society that the rest of society will cheer for you mocking. So it gives the dweebs a full sense of elevated importance. That was what was true prior. I think those same dweebs have really lost their shit when it comes to us just saying it's just measured flat and there's nothing you can do about it. Furthermore, there's nothing I can do about it. You know, I'm not going to suddenly change the world because I now know that the religion of the ball was contrasted not by the reality of measurements, but by the absurdity of people's behaviour when they look at conspiracy theories, which flat Earth has been classed as one, when it's just how Earth is measured. It'll never be recategorised into just geometry or just geography. No one's going to recategorise it. It's been set up so that the religion is contrasted with Egypts, dweebs, geeks, and conspiratards. So that it's dweeb on dweeb, idiot on idiot, at the lower ends of societally valued people, with the lowest of the low typically finding someone that they can perceive to be lower than their own social stature. Oh, you're a flat earther? Well then, no longer am I lowest in this pecking order. Ha ha ha! I can demean you as the most stupid person ever. It's like, yeah, well, it takes the lowest low-value male to be weaponized in that way. For the benefit of heliocentrism, not them. Did everyone have fun yesterday? I released an 8-hour show to keep you all entertained while I was moving acoustic treatment around, enjoying my wife's birthday. Clearly not.
I didn't hear you. Come back with that.
You enjoy the show that I published? I put out a really long show that we filmed about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that confused the heck out of me because it started, I was listening to the whole thing. Then it went to another thing, and it was like long, but it repeated itself. Like where you started was where you ended. I don't know. I can't explain it, but I got a couple of things twice.
I mean, it's often going to be the case that the theme of the show is repeated if it's an 8-hour show. We're going to go over the same subjects multiple times. Like me talking about Chase Hughes, that example is going to come through to the audience twice. First, slightly less refined while I'm trying to find the video and can't in my shorts feed from doom scrolling. Too many thousands of doom scrolled videos.
Yeah, that was that show yesterday. Boy, were we sniffing our farts there, talking about freaking photography that led into freaking a double slit. And they did it and come in and wake us up. Light's not a freaking wave.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff is useful on a journey of flat earthing and figuring out where science has been hijacked to convince us that we're on a ball, you know, taking it away from a maths or geography categorization and putting it into a science one. But once you understand that magic trick, some of the advancements that actually have resulted in technological advancements that benefit humanity don't really concern me too much. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the fact that I've got a nice working computer, and we have got quantum mechanics to thank for that. But ultimately, do we care? I'm not that dweeby. Now you know that science has been used to brainwash you in a category error. Do you care beyond that? When you know the trick? I don't.
Nope. Well, I think that was the last show that Jen was on. Never came back after that.
Is that right?
Yep. He was calling me shit, not even worthy to be in the soles of his shoes. And then he left and never came back.
All right. I'm sure he'll come back eventually. They always do.
Unless they've been kicked out.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's less than one hand's worth of people that have been banned from the show. Very, very rare occurrence. Like I say in every intro, you'll be warmly welcome back on the next show. But Jin's objections with us will probably remain, because our objections to him are of a conspiratorial nature. Like, if you're going to stereotype Flat Earth about being people and what people say and what people do, and you represent that stereotype, then, in my opinion, you're just playing into the hands of the absurd stereotypes ascribed to this subject so that it can be distracted from how Flat Earth just gets measured always. Said earlier, if you're going to have a ball created with those measurements, you need both sides to whistle past that fact. And for one side, it's so that you can lean or leverage people's dismay at the suggestion that Earth might be flat into saying, no, if you understand this truth, you'll open your eyes to other really important conspiracy here truths that I have to tell you about.
Yeah, I'm going to show you how everything's a lie and how we all been lied to. And this is beneficial to you that you think the way I think you should think.
Unitox Femu in the chat saying, Batman, how are you doing? Any save today? Yeah, by elevating their dweeby selves above flat earthers, their heads have swollen so much that they do actually think that they're secret superheroes. That's what we were discussing on last show, right? What it is to be Batman.
Yes, that's correct. And you still got people coming into the chat, same old people. They could come on and join, but they'd rather just chat skank. You can only time them out so much, Nathan. They come back with the same thing over and over again.
Let 'em. Like I say, in the Chase Hughes categorization of people, it's like they are doing their job by being that person. That's their nature. So it's like you can't change a leopard's spots.
Like this guy's name is disqualified, right? And he says, just wondering, does measuring flat entail our baseline forms a straight line with the GP of a star when measuring an elevation angle, or just looking at it?
Has this guy got a boat? Is he going to hold a party? Are we going to go out drinking on the high seas? We're going to sunbathe on his deck? Is that what he's asking? Are you cool?
So when measuring an elevation angle, we look towards the GP of a star?
Did you hear my question? Is this guy cool? Are we going to get to go out on this dweeb's boat? Let's start inferring what I actually mean in my tone of disdain.
The GP is on the ground, so do we look in the direction where the GP is when measuring flat? Nathan, do you have a boat next to you?
No.
Oh, okay.
Got a diagram on screen, though, that shows how elevation angles are working with respect to a planar surface. I mean, if you want to check it out. I mean, it's pretty boring. I can't be honest. Oh, very boring. But if we're going out partying on a boat, and that's why you need to know, then I'm all ears. I mean, yeah, we need to learn how to navigate the high seas if we're going out and sunbathe on the deck of your boat. Oh, what's that? No, I don't actually have a boat. I just want to talk about how ball-shaped the world is after we measure it. Yeah, go away. You're just boring.
So he says, not on flat Earth. I'm sorry, but talking about GP and distances and directions, not height. Does he realize that all of these things he said, distance, direction, and GP, ground position, you said you weren't talking about flat Earth? Yes, you were.
Yeah, but why? Are we going out on a boat with this guy? I keep asking. Nobody's giving me answers. Are we going to do something cool with this information or what? Yeah, we're going out navigating the high seas. Are there going to be girls on your boat in bikinis or what? Or is it just us adenoidal idiots discussing it for no reason? Can't cope with how flat Earth gets measured with elevation angles like the one depicted on screen. Oh, the world that we paint on top of this ball is the world that we live in, and you need to understand, because secretly I'm Batman, and I'm saving the world from your ignorance.
Here's a guy for you. His name is @Batman and Oakley. So you're going to get timed out right away. Attacking a person again.
Yeah, that's what these people have got. Ad hominem, at the man. I don't care. Water off a duck's back. Like I say, I would be intrigued to go on a boat. Dave Weiss styley. That sounds like fun. You know, when I'm knocking Dave Weiss in his boat, it's mostly out of jealousy. Like, I want to be out on a boat sunbathing.
You know, even hiking. I mean, someone said to me the other day that you've never measured a flat one day. I said, well, I have actually. I've used an OS map I've got a bearing of where I am out in the open, and then I've got a point on the map where I want to get to. So I've put a point on the map as the crow flies. I've worked out the distance of the scale on the map, which is in miles, which is a horizontal linear distance, and I've used my compass then to get a bearing. And then I've got the compass in my hand, at the front of my chest, horizontal, parallel to surface level. And then I'll guide and navigate my way to point B, which I think was about 3 to 4 miles away. And I got there. So I navigated and measured the Earth flat. I have done that. I'm very proud of that.
Okay, so is it bothering them that we're saying the word measuring? So do you want us to say we recognize the Earth to be flat while doing whatever one deck was doing? Right? So we recognize it, that it can only be flat. Is that what's bothering you? Because we say we measure Earth flat and we don't have the dimensions?
I think that is the problem, because ideally we'd measure it flat and then not mention how flat it was measured. That's what's been the order of the day for 10 years. Like, yes, we will use south as a flat orientation and directionality. Yes, we will measure our height from the surface level. And yes, we will infer a distance to a geometric horizon below the surface level we just measured flat, labelled surface level in our Earth curve maths. Just nobody mention the preceding flat Earth measurements. Now let's get to the real business of arguing how ball-shaped it is or isn't at the geometric horizon at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height of a measured flat Earth. Just don't say off a measured flat Earth. It's very annoying.
Exactly, you got it.
We'll all get along swimmingly if we don't acknowledge how flat we are all measuring Earth and just argue about how ball-shaped the world is after we've measured it flat. Like, we'll get coordinates, that's flat Earth elevation angle measurements, on a flat Cartesian grid. And when we've got those coordinates, we'll ask you, a flat earther, how they work on a flat Earth. Now, obviously, that requires both of us ignore how flat the coordinates themselves are. So long as we can ignore together how flat these coordinates are, I can ask you how they work on a flat Earth, and you can tell me how they don't work on a ball.
And that goes on and on and on.
Yeah. Brian, bless him, summarised it beautifully. What are you trying to do? Make us redundant? What, by pointing out the very first thing we do is measure Earth as a flat plane? That's annoying because it makes the oh-so-far sniffy information that you've learned about the transition from those flat measurements into sphericity, for how it don't work when you move the light with respect to the sun in an orbital motion that's also taking place on a flat plane of reference, through a bifurcated flat plane at the equatorial minimums, measured with a flat plane of Polaris. If we can just ignore all of those things, I can detail how the orbit doesn't quite match up with what I see of the light in the sky I measured flat in the first... I mean, let's not mention that bit. The light I measured, in some form, let's just call it a degree. In fact, the curve of the protractor means that we've got curve. Cool? Everyone cool? Right. Now, you tell me how it's not working on a ball. I'll tell you how you're wrong. Everyone will get on with their day and everyone's happy. Just don't mention how flat an elevation angle is, because we'll be using them on both sides to argue about how ball-shaped it is or isn't. So let's not just undermine everything by pointing out that we've measured Earth flat first. That's no fun at all. How am I going to express my fart-sniffing knowledge about how a ball doesn't work if I've already acknowledged how flat we've measured it to achieve that ball? Nobody's having fun if we just measure Earth flat and then say, well, that's the end of the discussion. That ends the discussion! Don't just say it's flat because we measure it flat. How dare you?
You have to be able to explain how the globe don't work, Nathan. Don't you think I don't know that? You think I don't know that there's a flat plane refracted? You think I didn't hear that?
I'm going to go the other way. No, I'm going to lean into how your ball does work with its flat plane measurements of surface level, height soffit, parallel eye level, depression angles with respect to a planar surface. I mean, I'll explain how the ball does work. That's why I've got all these diagrams. They're not there for our health. It's how the ball does work with these flat earth measurements. I mean, obviously, we've got to create the ball first with the flat earth measurements that we measure off surface level. But once we've done that, you can back engineer all of those flat measurements into a surface level that's curving. I mean, no, you don't. You just work from within the ball on a flat plane that's inside the ball with latitude lines marked around it like a protractor. But once you're in the ball, there's a ball. So ball's working, right? Let's just accept that. You know, it's okay that we're using flat earth measurements to create this ball. Once we've created it with the flat earth measurements, we've got a ball to believe in. Isn't that good enough? There we go. Look at this on screen. It's even got a little map-shaped suggestion on the protractor where the angle's terminating has been erased by the map that's drawn onto the protractor. So, therefore, we've got a ball, right? This is good enough. Just ignore the flat plane bifurcating this glorified protractor and just pay attention to the map on the ball-shaped bit. Everybody's happy, right? Ball. There it is. Don't worry about the flat earth measurements. It's not for you to concern yourself with. You're not measuring them. You're not a cog. But you just worry about how ball-shaped they say it is in this diagram. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Almost as if you're saying like the globe is flat and it's measured like that, and the globe is flat and the Greeks all knew that.
Yeah, they had to know that or they couldn't have created the ball. They're not stupid. Obviously, they've got to start with something, and they started with the measurements of Earth as a flat plane to create the ball to think outside that crazy square flat box that the world was and is being measured as. Nobody needs that. If you've got epicycles that need explaining, how are you going to do that unless you take the flat Earth measurements and create a ball and put it in motion around the sun and call it retrograde motion? That's a job well done, that is. I mean, that's fine work. Admirable. And you can believe that the ball that they came up with, the out-of-the-box thinking that is a spherical world, based on the flat Earth measurements that were accurately gathered, means that the surface is actually curving. I mean, you can believe that. I give you my permission. You have my blessing.
So
It's not the same. Bad one, Dick.
Just saying back to the Greeks then, because somebody coming into this new, looking at like how was the circumference of the Earth measured? You'll get the Eratosthenes example of Alberuni, which when you read it slowly a couple of times, it's telling you it's actually measured flat using elevation angles and depression angles from surface level. It's just
Yeah. No,
what
all you need to
right
do.
there, that's the apparent globe proof.
Yes,
Or the globe
say the second bit, not the
measurement.
first bit. That's the apparent globe proof. Just say that bit. Don't say that they knew how they were measuring angles from surface level. Just say degrees. And then you don't have to acknowledge the flat bit. Just say, therefore globe works. If you just say the second bit and not the first bit, one deck, everyone will love you. Easy. Why'd you have to be a pain in the arse and acknowledge the flat earth measuring bit? Nobody likes that bit, one deck.
Sorry, I won't mention
Oh,
it
hold
again.
on. You're being a little too tough on him. I mean, we went right past it for years. We didn't see it. But maybe, Nathan, just possibly maybe, that no matter what we say, they're still not seeing it. Gotta give them a little more time, Nathan.
I don't really mind. I mean, surface level's going to remain part of the begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator. It's right there on screen. Surface level. It's required. That's not my forcing them to recognise it. It's there in the maths whether they like it or not. This cog will continue to turn whether they acknowledge part of the machinery or not. It doesn't matter, does it? The machinery requires surface level. It's right there. It's labelled. The eye level's parallel with it.
Okay, so you're going to tell me that everybody, all my teachers from kindergarten to, let's say, 6 years in college, that they're all wrong. And as a flat earther, I got to listen to you?
No, you don't have to listen to anything. Me saying surface level is it consequential to whether or not the Earth curve mathematics as depicted on screen has surface level. I am not the arbiter of such things. Me pointing out this, me drawing a little mouse, underlining it and going, look there, surface level. Now, how that is utilised and measured has nothing to do with me. Now, me pointing out, is that me saying your teachers lied to you? No. It's me pointing a little mouse to the word surface and then the word level and then pointing out how this is fundamentally required to build a belief that there's a horizon below the surface level. It's just me pointing out that the surface level requiring measuring. That's just part of what it is. What if I didn't say it? Would that mean that I'm not suggesting that your teachers lied to you? I wasn't suggesting they did.
So everything they taught me goes out the window because you say it's measured flat. Well, but you're not accounting for the curvature of the Earth that we demonstrate time and time again when we show you boats going over horizon, buildings that are half blocked by a freaking curve.
Yeah, I will again lean into it. Okay, so I'm not acknowledging the distance to the horizon that the boats go over at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's measured height off surface level. Okay, I'll acknowledge that we will have a suggestion that boats are going over a geometric horizon below the surface level that we measured to get our height above it. There it is labelled in the maths called surface level. It's got height. That calculation is fundamentally reliant on us measuring our height. That's verticality with respect to horizontality with an altitude number attached to it as a form called a measurement. It's axiomatically requiring flat Earth be measured at surface level for height. And the distance that's inferred is a horizontal linear description that we have arbitrarily applied a number to. Miles or kilometres or furlongs or stadia. They're all flat. Now, me saying it doesn't mean I'm saying your granny robbed from you or that your teachers lied to you. It's just an axiomatic principle in this machine called Earth curve maths that you can lean into to believe that there's a physical geometric horizon below the surface level we measured. You can believe that. Good for you. Bless you. But you can't deny the surface level. It's required. It's one of the cogs for your belief in a ball. So it doesn't matter if I'm saying it. It doesn't matter if I don't say it. It's still going to be there. We're still going to measure surface level. That's what altitude is, perpendicular to a plane of reference in an upward vector with an arbitrary number ascribed in kilometres or metres or feet or inches or yards or furlongs or stadia or whatever it is you want to arbitrarily ascribe to a vertical orientation when described perpendicular to a plane of reference and given a number called height. That's what you need. It's 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. When you say the boat's going over the horizon that's below the surface level I just measured. But we just measured surface level, didn't we? It's not, I need you to confirm it because suddenly you're an important cog, and if you don't confirm it, the cogs fail. No, they don't. It's not like me asking had any bearing on whether or not this cog was a cog. It's right there slapping you, bull-believing idiots, right in your dumb faces. Because obviously we've got to back engineer the actual surface level into any maths that inquires about where the horizon may or may not appear, and the distance in horizontal linear ascribed value that's also arbitrary to that suggested distance when we demonstrate it in an orthographic view. Now, we don't get to see the side of our own heads, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like you're seeing yourself from space looking down at a tangential point below the surface level we're measuring. We just need a height off surface level so we can ascribe a horizontal linear distance measurement. Now, what's that? I'm wrong, surface level bends. No, it's right there axiomatically tied to the eye level parallel with the surface level. So if this bends, it doesn't axiomatically hold up for the mathematics you need to measure Earth flat for your ball faith. That you're welcome to. You've got my permission. I know how important people see my opinion when I'm not a cog. Like, it doesn't matter how many times I tell them I'm not a cog. They still want me to be a cog. Like, what if you knock this cog out of the clock? I'm not in the clock. I'm not part of this maths. This is my maths. And me pointing it out doesn't mean I'm saying your teachers are liars either. It's just me showing words in an orthographic mathematics.
No answer for why half a building is missing.
I do.
Observation.
It's missing because according to Earth curve mathematics, there's a distance to a geometric horizon based on a measurement of 1.22 times the square root of said flat Earth measurement off surface level. So why? Oh, because this maths says it will disappear at a distance that requires us measure Earth flat to acquire it. So I do. I mean, I'll lean into it. What's that? Boat's going over a geometric horizon. Yeah, that we acquired after measuring Earth flat to come up with that inference in an orthographic calculation. That's where your distance to the boat's going over is. It's on screen, marked with an X and labelled horizon, right there below the surface level that we will measure for our altitude, parallel with eye level. So without these axiomatic flat Earth measurements, your inference that a boat's going over a geometric horizon below the surface level at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's measured height off a flat Earth. That's not me just saying it. It's part of the maths, whether you like it or not. So if you want to take the flat Earth measurement from surface level and infer that there's a geometric horizon below that measured surface level, you're welcome to use that as an explanation in an orthographic view that ignores perspective. You can do that. You're dumb. It's part of your religion that's got flat Earth measurements in it. That doesn't make the measurements mine. It's not like I'm leaning into this as my proof of a flat Earth. It's just there in this punch bowl like a turd. A turd in your punch bowl. A flat Earth turd floating around labelled surface level. But you drink it, man. You drink this turd-filled punch. You drink it. Me, I'm just looking at it and going, look at that turd. It's floating around labelled surface level. What's that? I don't have an explanation. Yeah, but your explanation requires you measure Earth flat, though, doesn't it? It's not mine. You drink that turd-filled punch. You, not me.
You know, you can look at the map with the rivers, all the rivers of the world, and it's pretty interesting. You can literally see the logic of the rivers flowing based on elevation of every city which the rivers are passing.
Logic.
Yeah, elevation profiles showing the directionality of flow of rivers from high to low with respect to the relief measured with respect to sea level, where the rivers terminate at surface level, measured with respect to a plane, with the same thing. Altitude from surface level. Yeah, it's called an elevation profile. Correct. 8 King. Shout out to, was it Roger Ledwell who gave me a super chat for my wife's birthday yesterday? Thank you very much indeed, Roger. Really appreciate the support. It's a game swimming in about an hour, so I might try and end the show relatively soon and then see if I can squeeze an extra half an hour to an hour. Oh, there we are. Perfect timing. Did you want to do an hour on the book if I end the show now? Playing Boggle.
No.
Julia Coloured Brain. Oh, okay. Apparently there's an exciting game going on, so may not get any bookwork done today. It's been hailing. It's been 4 seasons in one day. So as we were driving, there was all these leaves falling off off the trees in this lay-by embankment on the way to the trampolining lesson my eldest daughter has on a Wednesday. So it's like, oh, look, it looks kind of like autumn with all these leaves blowing around all over the place. And then as we travelled a little bit further, the sun cracks through the sky, through the clouds, and it felt really warm in the car. It's like, oh, it's like a summer's day suddenly. Oh, in a T-shirt, quite happy. And then hail started coming down. Oh my God, it's like winter. And then a stiff breeze hit us, and it's like, yeah, it's just a bit like spring as well. So we've literally had 4 seasons in one day today. Any Crowded House fans out there will know what I'm talking about.
So you are in a T-shirt. That's what I got said to me. You're going to take your logic from a 45-year-old man sitting in his T-shirt on the internet? Too lazy to get a job? What's wrong with you, Neil?
Right, this is not logic. Category error. Hello. Right? When I point out what's on screen, that's not a logical inference. I'm not saying logically anything. I'm just underlining words that are part of a mathematics that relies on surface level measurements. Is that logic? No. Is 1.22 times the square root of the observer's measured height off surface level? Is that logic? That's maths. Maths based on measurement off surface level. That's not logic. Now, me saying it doesn't will it into existence either. It already exists. You idiots require Earth be measured flat for your inference that you say boats are going over the horizon. I agree. All right, yeah. There's a maths that explains that. We measure Earth flat for it at surface level. I'm joining you in your dumbass idiot belief that we're on a ball with a horizon below the surface level we measure. I'm leaning into it. I'm saying, yeah. Don't take your education from a man in a T-shirt, 45-year-old man in a T-shirt. No.
I'm not talking about distance. I'm talking about the fact that there is half of a building missing. What does distance have to do with that?
Half the building's missing? You need to get in touch with the Builders Guild immediately. Sounds like there's a big problem.
Oh, it's an Earth curve. Gets in the way. That's why. It's simple.
Oh, Earth curve, like a 1.22 times the square root of the observer's measured height of a flat Earth.
There you go again.
Yeah.
You're bringing this up again.
Yeah, measured flat to achieve. Mathematically. That's not logic, by the way. It's maths. Your maths, where Earth curve only exists in said maths. Earth curve, there's no real Earth curve. But mathematically, you can derive it from flat Earth measurements off surface level. 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That's the distance to the geometric horizon where this chat skanking numpty thinks boats are going over. No, that horizon's below the surface level that we measured flat to achieve our height, perpendicular to a plane of reference. That's altitude. It's part of the measurements, not logic. Measurements, your measurements for your boat going over a geometric horizon? Yeah, you'll need to measure a flat Earth for it. What, you don't like it? You're going to take your words from a man in a T-shirt? No, take it from your own maths. Not mine. It's that metaphorical turd labelled surface level in your punch bowl of boats going over a geometric edge after measuring Earth flat to achieve said inference.
It's weird that because the horizon's never been defined as a physical location. It's defined as like where the sky and the surface of Earth appear to meet. Now, looking at that on screen, the horizon isn't, apparently meeting the surface. It's below the surface. So what's going on there then?
I've no idea. This is not my punch. I'm not drinking it. I can see the turd. It's right there, surface level. I mean, what's that? You're not going to take this information from a 45... No, don't take it from me. No, me saying it is inconsequential to how the surface level's level. That's just how it is. The surface is level. It's required to be so or you won't get your altitude above it. It's just that simple. You don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to take it as logical consistency. You don't even have to accept it as mathematics. You don't have to accept it at all. Doesn't matter if you even know it exists. Surface level will still be surface level, though.
So if a guy in a tuxedo tells you, listen, that fire's not hot, just stick your hand over it, But the guy in the mental institution saying, look, I'm in here because I got lit on fire. Don't touch it. Whose word are you going to take?
Hold on. Can I hear the choices again?
You got a man, well-dressed, top hat, tuxedo.
No, I was
while I'm
joking.
tweeting. Oh, okay. Well, you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, you're saying these idiots don't understand that hot things can burn. Yes. And this surface level is a hot potato required for you to infer a distance to a geometric horizon for boats to go over. And I'm saying you can do that. You are welcome to. Use the surface level to measure your height above it. You're welcome to use horizontal linear miles. You're welcome. It's my pleasure. What's that? You thought they were mine? Yeah, they are. I own miles and altitude measurements. That's correct. Yeah, they are basically Nathan Oakley's. You can praise me as your god. All right, that's it. An hour of fun has been had. Anything anybody wants to add? No? With that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering Streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you who liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, hit me up on Patreon, PayPal, smash the super chat, all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley. Another massive thank you to today's Discord and G Plus panels, and I will see you all in the next video.
But when you measure it flat, it contradicts that. I'm spitting flat facts and that. And I know you don't like that. Google Maps is flat, it presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat earth king. Sentence has a ring, doing my own thing. If earth was a big roast chicken, factually finger licking chicken. We just got the measurements missing. I'm spitting eggs and begs, begging the question lesson. I've said it before, time after time. I'm the spitting flat earth king of rhyme.